Hey guys, Scratch Minus here, and welcome to my very first Overwatch VoD review. This is something I've kind of wanted to do for a while, and I fortunately found someone who was willing to let me look at their gameplay. So you can see our friend Mad6 up in the top left here. Let me look at his gameplay where he plays D.Va on Ilios, and so I'm just going to kind of review it, go over some things, and try to see if I can help him out. Full disclaimer, I think I've peaked at about 3100 most recently, so I'm not the greatest player in the world. I really wouldn't try to help anyone that was higher than mid-plat really, but I think I can be a fresh pair of eyes, and since I spend a lot of time in these ranks, I kind of know what goes on, and I think I could really help out. So that's the goal here today. So we're gonna see our friend's going to be in a moment, after he takes a moment to select, is going to be choosing D.Va. And D.Va, we're gonna start out by kind of saying, okay, with your team comp, this isn't too bad. Like, Junkrat can work on this map, especially now in the new patch. Junkrat can pretty much work whenever. Let's actually let's go back and let's keep it on this team comp. So the Junkrat can work, and look at this, I even have a fancy fucking pen that I can use to do things. Woo! So Junkrat's fine. We're just gonna kind of ignore the Junkrat. That's fine, and we have him Creed. That's cool. Whatever. Not too big on the whole double big healer thing, because that kind of means he'll be fighting for ult charge constantly, but it's not the worst thing ever. The biggest thing that we're looking at here is you choosing to play D.Va when you have a Roadhog, and it's not a bad thing. D.Va can synergize well with pretty much any tank, just because of her defense matrix and her defensive capabilities. But I'm gonna go and let the video keep playing. But the thing about D.Va and Roadhog is that they're both kind of offy. They're kind of off tanks. Neither of them are really classified as a main tank. So if you don't have a Winston or a Reinhardt, you don't really have that main focal point. D.Va can stand up and absorb damage, and that's a really big important part of her kit, but she can only do it for so long, so you have to be really wary. So that's just what I'm gonna kind of be looking at. You need to make sure you're using your defense matrix well. One thing right out of the gates, I would say use your boosters. There's no reason not to use your booster here. They'll be back off a cooldown by the time you get to the point, and it'll just get you in front of your team so you can protect them. Alright, yes, eat the Pharaoh rockets, that's good. What's not good is just, I just want to look at what you're doing when you're walking in. Yes, okay, so you're absorbing incoming damage, but just pay attention to your defense matrix, because you haven't even gotten into the fight yet, and look at that, your defense matrix it's all the way down here. Now this is going to be, to charge your defense matrix all the way back up, that's going to be like, it's a 10-second recharge for the full thing, so that's going to be like 8 seconds of recharging to get your defense matrix back up, and you guys haven't even gotten into the fight yet. So that's just something to think about. Make sure you don't overuse your defense matrix when you don't need to. Alright, this is alright, just kind of putting damage into the Zarya, although realistically, because you're the only one with defensive capabilities, you need to be up front more, you need to be protecting your team. Alright, it's alright. You should be following your McCree up there. If he's going to chase down the D.Va, make sure you're following them. That's kind of your role as D.Va too. You're almost like an enabler. If your teammates want to push up and do things, you need to be able to follow them and protect them while they do those. Not too keen on, okay, this right here, where you're kind of just standing in a choke. Where there is a ton of damage coming in, so you use your boosters to reposition, that's alright, although you could have walked up the right side, and then you stand here, shoot at the Lucio for a little bit and move to the side, and then you just kind of stand here and take damage, and you eat a little bit, but realistically you're just giving the enemy ult charge and feeding the enemy healers ult charge, because at this range you're not doing anything to these people, especially when they've got a defense matrix of their own flicking up every now and then. You're really not going to be doing a whole lot to them, so I would be wary of just standing there and letting yourself take damage, just because, well, yes, you are also feeding your healers ult charge, it's not the greatest thing to be doing constantly. I'm gonna also just a note, I will kind of be rewinding, going back and forth a lot, just so I can kind of make sure I don't miss anything. So this movement right here, this is alright, getting on the Pharah to help out a little bit, although once you start getting like messed up by the Zarya, definitely back out. And right here, let me see, Yeah, your boosters came off of cooldown there. So what I would have been doing in that situation is just, if you know the Zarya is on you, like as soon as you get here, you're fighting the Pharah. Alright, and then you notice that the Zarya is hitting you, and was that your Mercy that ran off into the corner, or was that the enemy Mercy? That was the enemy Mercy that ran off in the corner. Honestly, I would say, at this point, it wouldn't be a bad idea to just hightail it over here to the left and just go around this back corner, because if you go back there, Zarya's gonna have a harder time hitting you, and the Mercy, like the Mercy and the Soldier, you can block those with your defense matrix. You can just block that back into that corner and go back onto the high ground and not have to worry about taking all of this damage from the Zarya that's coming from this direction. That's not narrow. So that's what I would do, and especially be eyeing your cooldowns, because your jets came off of cooldown in enough time for you to escape, but you didn't use them. So just cooldown awareness. Pretty much the right thing. Don't stand still when you're doing this, but pretty much the right thing to be doing when you're baby D.Va. That's just unfortunate. Pretty much the right thing to do when you're baby D.Va. Just spam shots. Just never stop shooting. Just spam shots. Preferably into tanks. Is how you should be doing that, because that's what will get you your ult back the fastest, because if you're not in mech, you are essentially worthless for your team. That's just kind of how D.Va works. And this right here, this happened because you got demeched by the Zarya, and I'm not saying it's your fault, but you could have prevented this had you not been up as far, pushed up by yourself earlier. So just keep that in mind. Think about maybe what ults are coming up. That's a big part of playing D.Va. Kind of got to know what ultimates does the enemy team probably have, what are things that I can block, and how can I help out the team by protecting them from these things. It's going to be a little different when her DM nerf comes through, but as of right now, that's just kind of how it is. See, like this again, big waste of defense matrix. You used it expecting damage. You should realistically be using it reactively to damage, especially after the new patch. You're not going to be able to use defense matrix like that. Like right now, your McCree, I don't know, maybe it's a bad play to do, because in theory you're enabling your team to make mistakes, which isn't a good thing. But in this scenario, I would say go up there, fly to your McCree. Like right now, you should be flying to him and putting your defense matrix over him, and then letting him back away so that he doesn't die there. And you're the only one that can do that, so just keep that in mind. It seems like you guys are backing up. Okay, well, it's looked like you guys are backing up. You really shouldn't be pushing right now because you're already down one. Although I guess now you have a pick, so it's fine to go in. Nice focus on the Zarya. I saw this D.Va bomb earlier, and yes, it got good results. It did get really good results. I would say honestly, that's not a terrible D.Va bomb, because the place that the team needs to go is the point. Like the objective is important, otherwise we're gonna get it. And by pushing it through there, you not only force people onto the point, but you also made them make a decision where they either had to run onto the point to protect it and die to the D.Va bomb, or they had to run off and let you guys cap it. So that's a good D.Va bomb. Maybe throwing it in the air would have been better, but it got results, so I'm fine with that. This right here, you're doing the exact right thing. Just block the Soldier. If you run out of defense matrix, just get in his face and eat as much damage as you can, because you can take it way more than the squishies can. You definitely should not have let yourself get hit by that D.Va bomb. You got a little tunnel visioned on the Soldier, I would say. You don't need to pause for that. You just got a little tunnel visioned on what the Soldier was doing and the fact that he was low. Although realistically, at that point, you should have just called Soldier low and then backed up and gotten out of line of sight of the bomb. Alright, your Anna's over there staggering herself. That's nothing we can do about that. I'm also noticing there's not really any comms going on, which, I mean, I suppose that this game is about a 2,000 rating. I should have said that earlier. Really should have said that earlier. This game is around 2,000 SR. So I understand that. I've been there. I understand people don't always talk, people don't always communicate, and lots of times people are toxic. But just try your best to maybe get in the team chat or talk to people and just get some sort of communication going. Oh, and look at that, we have a Winston now. That's wonderful. All right, big thing there, big thing there. It's fine, it's fine. you start shooting just a little bit. I think you were predicting that the bubble was about to go down, and you started shooting just a little bit too early. Just be careful of that, because especially at close range, you will charge the hell out of Zarya's bubble, so don't do that. And also, this aggressive play definitely shows that she's trying to get a grab off, so you kind of need to be looking for that and be ready to eat it. And you're lucky that fortunately, y'all's Widow is great, apparently, and just picks her off for you guys, so you don't even have to worry about it. And now, most important thing is definitely what you're doing now, boosting onto the point. Although you're not exactly looking, you should have been, yeah. Although I know the Lucio gets up into your face and starts doing Lucio things, and he's right there and he's low, but all of your damage, all this damage you're taking is coming from the D.Va and the Soldier. So having your back to them is just not a smart play. And again, okay, yes, okay, you were about to be demacked? No, you weren't. Alright. Think of, rather than thinking of D.Va's like bomb as only a zoning ult, or especially not as an ult to get kills, don't think of it like that. It's not, it can get kills. You showed that it can get kills, but here, I'm gonna keep going while I try to talk about this. Another way you should think of it is kind of like how people think of Winston's Primal Rage, in that it's an ult that allows you to save yourself from death. So imagine if you had D.Va Bomb right there, and you were 1 HP, you just mashed that Q key, and as soon as you get popped out of mech there, you just immediately drop your bomb, and everybody on the point has to scramble and run away from you or try to protect themselves from the bomb. That's how you want to be using D.Va Bomb. That's just like a cleaner way to use it, because it kills 2 birds with 1 stone, because you get your mech back after you use it. So just keep that in mind. I tend to, unless I'm going for like a flying, like angled in the air D.Va Bomb, or like shooting it to a grab or something, I try to save it for times when I need to contest the point and I'm probably going to get knocked out of mech, because then I can force people off of the point or catch them off guard in a situation where they think they demeched me. So just keep that in mind when you're using your bomb. Okay, so we're back to the Roadhog. We now have a Widowmaker and a Junkrat. I'm not really going to comment too much on the team comp. Like, at like a lower gold level, pretty much you can get away with most stuff as long as you're all playing what you're good at and what you're comfortable with, and you just work together. That's alright. Lucio coming in. I don't know what that Lucio's doing. He's suicidal. That should be something you call. You guys all jump on him. Getting on the point with your team to protect them, right? Standing in front of them, which is good. I suppose it's kind of because the incoming damage was coming from the D.Va, but it kind of just looked like you were trying to block the Zarya. Avoid doing that. Alright, good pick on the Doomfist, although in theory you should be on your point. Like, somebody else should be dealing with the Doomfist, then you should be on point protecting your team. But it worked out, it's fine. Something you can kind of, ooh, that was nice. Those are the kinds of things you want to do with Defense Matrix. Eat big shot, like burst damage. Especially when the new patch comes out, you're not gonna be able to just eat random damage. Okay, and again, I know I was in the middle of something, but again, don't do this. Don't charge Zarya's shields unless she's low. Don't shoot Zarya's shields. If she's like, you know, half HP or lower than that, and it's like, okay, she's like doing a lot of work or something, then you could say just focus her, burst through the bubble, and kill her immediately instead of giving her that extra 2 seconds to do damage. But in a situation like that, when they're first pushing and she probably doesn't have a lot of charge, just avoid shooting the bubbles at all. Just find a new target, completely ignore her. But like on what I was saying about Defense Matrix, make sure you're saving it for those big burst moments of damage. So like when they have a Pharaoh, just catch incoming rockets occasionally, or like Junkrats, things like that. Avoid flying into Zaryas, especially when they're being pocketed by Mercy. You will not win that fight. You will never ever win that fight. And again, your Lucio had sound barrier, so it's alright, but that was another one of those things where should have been more careful not to be demeched, and right there. Okay, well your Mercy has res, so dying on point isn't like a big problem. Is she gonna res that? Is she gonna inch? Okay. Mercy, no. Okay. It's not about this Mercy. I'm sorry. I apologize. That was just another one of those things though, like 2 big ults came in that you could have stopped, and the reason they came in, and right now you should not be doing this. Don't do this. Like, get out. No. Like, none of this. I'm just gonna let this play out and like explain, because I predict that you guys are gonna lose this fight. Yeah. When you got back in mech, that was your opportunity to run away, get out of the fight, just run, just leave, get back to your team, don't feed the enemy. Because in a situation like that, the team already had the point. You weren't stalling and getting your team more time, which is a viable strategy. Like on King of the Hill, if your team has the point, then yes, you can stall and get your team more time. But something like that where the enemy team had already captured it and you used an ultimate to try to cap it back, like, don't do that. This is alright, like, yes, getting on the Mercy, but also you have to be thinking about, like, I just want you to look at, while you're doing this, we'll just take a look at everything that happens up here. So while you're doing this, alright, so you come into a point, you boost in, you're in the front, your Mercy's dead. Your Mercy's dead, your Roadhog is dead because he got booped. Nothing you can do about that. However, your Tracer also dies. Your Tracer is dead, so now you're missing 3 people. And while these 3 people were dying, while these 3 people were dying, you were in the front of the team for a moment, and then you just hard focused on the Mercy, like too much, like much too much. That's something like your Junkrat's down here. Your Junkrat could have been dealing with that. That's something that your DPS should be focusing on, or flankers if you have them. When you're playing D.Va, sometimes you can think, okay, you can kind of come into a mindset, and maybe it's just me because I'm a DPS player too. You kind of fall into the mindset of, oh, okay, I need to get on the tanks, or not on the tanks. I need to get on whoever, like their healers or whatever, or this person that's close to me and they're low. And yes, you should be doing that, but also you have to think, what is your role as D.Va? You are essentially a protector. Your role is to stop incoming damage and to help finish off targets that are low, or like just disrupt the enemy. And that's something else. I haven't really seen a whole lot of you, like, you haven't really used your boosters for much of anything except for like the occasional repositioning. Think of your boosters as more than just going fast or anything. Think of your boosters as a tool for you to, like, especially on this map, to push people off the edge of the map, or to, right there, see, you just did it. That was perfect. That's the type of moves you should be doing as D.Va. And that right there, that was good. You ate as much as you could, so it's good work. And you even did what I have a tendency to do sometimes when I play D.Va, is let's see if you'll alright, you did what I did. You, like, kind of, I don't know if you did on purpose, but you kind of jumped into the grab in front of the rest of your team. And that's something that I tend to do as D.Va, especially when I have defense matrix up, is if I don't get caught in a grab and if I don't eat it, I will usually boost into the grab if my team is in it and throw up defense matrix in front of them. Because if you can take most of that damage, half the time you can prevent your squishies from dying. And while it seems crazy to throw yourself directly in the danger, that's kind of your role as D.Va. Now, don't throw yourself in a situation where you're just going to die, you're going to lose, and you're never going to win. But if you can protect your squishies and survive, go for it. Again, don't charge Zarya's bubble, because now she's just going to demek you even faster. I see what you were going for with that ultimate, but you didn't quite shoot it far enough. I probably would have just thrown it into that corner over there. Probably would have just, whoop. Let's see if I can just, I probably would have just said throw it through that door, like through the door, and then just try to get it to land like over here, kind of. You can't really see it because it's Zarya bubble, but in this direction, in that corner over, like over here. Just because that'd be easier to land, and it would force everybody off the point, whereas in that doorway people could just kind of hide over here, or like, I don't know, I couldn't really tell the angle of it, but it wasn't quite as threatening. The Lucy only died to it because he was riding on the fucking walls right here, and I don't know what he was doing. So just be conscious of that, like D.Va bomb usage. And at this point it's pretty much lost. It's a lost fight. You just have to stall as long as you can as D.Va. Your soldier manages to get back in, but even with the kill on the Doomfist and the Zarya, it doesn't look like it's going to be very fruitful. Nope. Alright, so This might have been all over the place. I'm going to try to wrap everything up in a quick... Ooh, cancel that. Let me just... Let's go back to... Let's just use this screen as our final little screen. So we're looking at your stats and everything. So big things that I noticed. I didn't look too much at tracking and stuff, although D.Va tracking is important, but it's not the most important thing in gold. Like, don't be super worried about tracking. That's something that comes with time and practice. And honestly, from your, like, you have gold limbs, gold objective kills, and even gold damage. So I can assume from that your tracking is alright, and that's hopefully getting better. So just keep working on it, maybe lower your sense a little bit. It didn't seem jerky or anything though, so I think you're good. Just practice on that. In terms of everything else, defense matrix, don't overuse it in times where it's not necessary. Don't use it proactively, use it reactively, especially because the upcoming patch is going to make it much shorter. You have to think more about that. Think about conserving it, thinking about being resourceful about it, tracking enemy ults so you know when they're coming in, and you kind of have an idea of, okay, when am I going to need defense matrix, how much am I going to need, how much am I going to be able to eat of this ultimate if it comes up. Which you did a couple times. You ate the soldier ult for the most part, most of the times, and that's good. That's what you're supposed to be doing, so I applaud you on that. Let's see, what else? Using your boosters to disrupt the enemy. I think I kind of missed that. I was about to talk about it, but then something else happened. Boosters are a really good way of just messing people up. So, like, if we're about to initiate a fight, I'll sometimes fly in, and when they have a Zarya, it's a little more dangerous, but I'll fly in, I'll boost through the enemy, and just kind of hit them. Just, like, hit all of them, displace them a little bit, maybe boop a Reinhardt to the side or something, and it just messes up their coordination. They just kind of get confused for a minute, and it does a tiny bit of damage, and your team can push in on that disruption. And then you can just kind of, like, boost in a circle and boost back to the front of your team and flick up the Finch Matrix to protect yourself again. So that's something to kind of think about, especially when she'll be able to move and shoot at the same time. You can boost in, disrupt like that while shooting. It'll be great. What else? Your ult usage. The first time you used your ult was good, where you got that triple, although I don't know if that was kind of luck, although it was smart to do it into the Mercy Res. Mercy Reses are a wonderful time for D.Va bombs, so good on that. The other times you dropped it, you were like full health, which is something I would kind of advise against, unless it's like that Mercy Res one where it's like, this is a perfect time, this is a good time to turn this fight around. Avoid stuff like that. Avoid just dropping your bomb, and just in general avoid just dropping your bomb on point without actually throwing it or something, because a static D.Va bomb is the easiest thing in the world to avoid. I know you have like the technique of boosting it into the ground, so it moves forward a little bit and it moves more than people think it will, and that'll catch people off guard. So maybe just try to work in also some angled like air shots or learning some things like that, and that can really up your bomb, like maybe not your kills, but it'll put it, if you can put your bomb in creative spaces, you can deny even more space to the enemy, and that can be a very valuable asset. So I know this was only a 10-minute video, and this has been like a fucking 20-minute VOD. I apologize, but hopefully I helped you out a little bit. If anybody else wants me to do VOD reviews or something, hit me up, because I'd love to. And thank you all for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace out, guys.